Hello everybody, PsyStarcraft here with another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time it's not going to be a live one, it's going to be casted from a replay. And hopefully this will give you guys a better sense of what's going on both sides and how each race is responding to the other race as far as like new units go and stuff like that. So it's just going to be another perspective. Hope you guys enjoy this. It's going to be in the top left, Decy, D-E-C-Y, as the red Protoss, against myself, Psy, in the bottom left as the blue Zerg. Now, I've been trying Zerg a lot lately. I've been selecting them deliberately. As I said before, I've kind of played all the other races. I know what the units are capable and stuff like that. So I've been working on a swarm host timing with a little something special in addition to the swarm host, and you guys are going to be seeing that this game, as well as a very unusual strategy from Decy that, well, catches me with my pants down, pretty much. So here we are on the map Star Station, I believe it's called. It's a 4-player map. It's pretty standard. I mean, a lot of people make big deals about, you know, maps being good for this, maps being good for that, but they're all pretty similar when you think about it. I mean, opening, third bases, fourth bases, blah, 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 stuff like that. I know that was like so simple, but yeah, it's the truth, man. Anyway, Dusty's setting up a pylon outside of his expansion. And yeah, we're talking about swarm hosts and how they are so damn amazing because they are 16 damage. Are you kidding me? 16 damage with 8.8 attacks every second? Or wait, yeah, 0.8 attacks every second. Wait, does that make sense? No, an attack every 0.8 seconds. That's what I meant to say. So anyway, pretty standard opening from Decy. Pretty cool to see someone like fast expanding in the heart of the swarm beta instead of just like one base tempesting or something like that. So it appears we will have 2 solid players in a macro game. And once again, talking about Broodlords compared to swarm hosts. Now it's kind of weird that Blizzard added another unit that has the exact same mechanic as a unit that already exists in that race. It'd be like adding another suicide unit for Zerg, or like a I don't know, having the Tempest and the Carrier, I guess, since they're so similar. But anyway, yeah, Swarm Hosts and Broodlords, they're so similar. It's kind of weird that they added it. I'm happy they did because Swarm Host is really cool, and it's like an earlier answer to, you know, mid-game Terran and Protoss pressure, but it's not the most creative unit in the world, that's for sure. Okay, it can attack well burrowed, just like the Lurker. Okay, well, it shoots out Broodlings, just like the Broodlord. But, I mean, it's hard to become original when there's already so many RTSs out there. Anyway, Protoss player throwing down his cannon, gateway, as well as the second nexus while I am expanding as well. I'm going to be going for some faster gas. I'm not going to play the typical ZvP where you'd get a third base really fast without getting any gas. I'm going to go ahead and try a 2-base timing, and this is going to be the swarm host timing that I was talking about earlier. You can see my expansion is up. I am going to be waiting for 100 gas to get my ling speed. Try to get some map control with my lings, and then probably just saturate up like crazy. I am able to deny that probe scout, so that's kind of fortunate. Usually a probe can just slip by even if there's a bunch of lings chasing him, but I was able to take out the probe. He wouldn't have been able to scout much anyway, though. Decy just now saturating his gases, about normal timing, I suppose. Cybernetics core coming up. Nexus almost complete. Now I'm going to be doing some scouting. Notice my Overlord has scouted over here, and I believe something scouted over here. I don't know what it was. It might have been one of his units. But I'm going to be checking out the top right because I haven't scouted that. This Overlord's on the way. So if he is on the top right, I can kind of fly it in, sack it, and see what he's doing. Production tab is in the upper left if you guys are curious as to what's being produced right now. Core almost complete. I expect to see some warp gates. I have a lot of minerals banked up, but that's pretty normal. Before as you wait for that next inject, you can see I'm producing now 10 drones, so what is that, 500 minerals. I am so good at math. My speed has been started, and once I get 100 gas and enough minerals to start my lair, I am starting my lair. So these 4 lings basically have to keep me going the entire game, you know, get my scouting information, see what he's doing, maintain map control and stuff like that, because I'm just going to be mass droning in order to fund these 2 gases that I'm now putting up. Now we can see Decy right now, he's actually got a mothership core out, and look at what it's doing. Where is that mothership core? Where are you, mothership core? There it is. He actually trained it from the expansion, which is kind of unusual because what he's going to be doing now is floating this mothership core all the way down here to my base to be offensive with it. Now, this is usually not a good idea because the thing that makes the mothership core so great is energize. You're able to instantly refill any building or unit's energy. So while he's floating that to my base, he's not going to be able to energize it. And again, really strange that he didn't choose this nexus to train it from, since he's going to be flying it to my base. That'd be a lot closer. Overlord here scouting a couple gateways coming up for Desi. So Mothership Core into 6 warp gates after an expansion. Looks like he has even started cutting probes, or he's just not building them, one of the two. Anyway, my lair is done. I'm now on 4 gas. If we check out the harvesters, I'm at 44, 19 out of 24 here, and 19 out of 24. Excuse me, here. So that's pretty good. Looking good. I even have an expansion coming up, as well as an infestation pit. I think I already said that. And I'm going to be producing lots of swarm hosts next. Now, this overlord is very important. Do not ignore this overlord. He's going to be doing stuff. Now, the timing actually works out pretty great, because he's just now getting his warp gates, and he's not really going to have a lot of units until like his second warping of warp gates. He's still waiting for these to complete. So what I'm going to be doing is dropping creep, sending out some probes, some drones rather, to build some spines and spores. And the reason I'm doing this is to support this swarm host. Now, swarm hosts obviously replenish their units every 25 seconds, and as long as they have some kind of support, so they don't die in between replenishing their units, they can just keep wailing away at whatever buildings are out on the outskirts. Maybe a couple zealots will get loose, stalkers, stuff like that. So now training 1 spore and 2 spines. The spore is going to be for maybe a void ray or a phoenix or something like that, and the 2 spines are just for general supports, and also the spore might help deter any observer play. So here come my first 3 swarm hosts, and keep in mind, while this is kind of like a tech rush build straight to swarm host, the macro is still good. I am vulnerable to kind of early attacks, so like any well-timed forge fast expand like gateway attack or something. Now he's going to be pushing out here. I do have 3 swarm hosts, however, and a spine just now completing. Now I'm kind of wondering if it was worth it for him to run there. Now he sees the 2 spines completing. He could have finished off this spine, and he could have easily killed the locust. He probably only would have lost 1 or maybe 2 units. But then once he killed these, he'd still have to react to these swarm hosts. So he probably should have just tried to destroy this fortification, because now that I'm able to reinforce it with more swarm hosts, those spines are going to be much more dangerous. So as we can see here, just continuing to swarm him with swarm hosts, go figure, as his mothership core approaches closer and closer, and he's not even getting a robotics facility. He's not getting any detection for the swarm host. He's really just counting on this mothership core to win him the game, and you're going to see how that might happen here in just a second. I'm continuing to rally swarm hosts. Hydralisk Den on the way, another great way to support your swarm hosts. And the cool thing about following up swarm hosts with hydras is that you already have the infestation pit to get a hive, and then you can get oh, am I gonna kill this? Oh my gosh, no, not quite. Is that you already have the infestation pit for a hive to get the hydra speed, and here comes the recall. So he's basically saying, I don't care if you're going to be swarm hosting me, I'm not going to get a robotics facility, I'm going to recall you with the ability on the mothership core, and then just get you from behind where your swarm hosts aren't. And so I'm fleeing with my probes from the main. Meanwhile, all these locusts are taking down the cannons. These guys need to burrow or go back and help. The problem is, though, I still have a couple swarm hosts here. I'm just going to rally in some locusts to take out whatever I can with their +1 attack. They're going to have 18 damage. And hopefully he doesn't get detection. Now you can see he's throwing down a couple pylons so he can warp in some units. But I am producing swarm hosts. I'm going to be rallying them down there. And finally I've broken the cannon wall, so it'd be good. There we go. To unburrow, get a little bit more inside of his base, try to take out his economy while preventing any kind of attack to my natural here. So I lost a lot of tech and my lair, but I haven't actually lost many drones, and I've got 7 more swarm hosts on the way, so that's pretty cool. So like I said, 2 different strategies going at it, and he just really needs detection if he wants any chance. Looks like he's getting a forge. Now he's getting a robotics facility, and now I have 3 swarm hosts. I should probably bring some of these swarm hosts back and just put 3 or 4 in his base, because that's all I'm going to need to take down his main base, because he doesn't have any detection. Now 5 swarm hosts continuing to rally. Is he going to choose to run down the ramp? I don't think he can. He doesn't have detection, and these locusts are just going to keep coming out, dealing so much damage to these zealots. They do crazy damage. He's actually force fielding me into my natural, which is exactly what I want. And it's just amazing having free units like this. I even have one back here. Looks like fortification still set up there. Still burrowing more, sending him into his base. A lot of micro involved with swarm hosts, so you got to make sure your locusts are pointed the right direction. You got to make sure you're burrowed within range, stuff like that. A couple cannons going up, trying to get some sight on my swarm host. Is he getting an observer? Yes, he is. He's going to have an observer pretty soon here. But I don't know, man. It's a lot of Swarm Hosts. 6 Swarm Hosts against just a handful of Stalkers. But he can use Purify, and that's exactly what he's going to do. His Mothership Core now capable of attacking units. There it goes, zapping away at my hatchery, at my Overlord, rather. And while his base is almost in shambles, I've got 3 Locusts left. The rest of them on their way back. Does he have detection? Yes, there's the Observer. Now we can finally see them, and he's got a good amount of Gateway units, able to warp in 2 more Zealots. But here come the reinforcing Swarm Hosts. Locusts just taking down almost everything. Looks like they will be a transfuse on 1 Swarm Host, second transfuse, and this Mothership Core just doesn't have the DPS to take down the 2 Queens DPSing it. Meanwhile, at my third, I did have my tech rebuilding, and there was full saturation, so really funny game. I mean, not too serious, obviously, with that silly little recall, and then just like a Swarm Host fortification here, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, Heart of the Storm's kind of crazy. I'm very skeptical about the Viper, though. I really want to find a use for that, so hopefully you'll see that in future videos. Thanks for watching.